There's like so many Aries here. Raise your hand if you're a freaking Aries. Okay. Too many of you here. Just kidding.
Your fire signs.
Bro, fire signs. Okay. And I think that I can't remember. I had heard like people biking here, and so I was like, okay, this seems really cool. It definitely seems way out of my range. I'd love to come here. I got to come here as a like day pass person initially, and I met Hollis. And you know, when you go somewhere and you know immediately, like if you have access to it, you're like, I am coming back here. I hadn't heard about it for years, and I was like, that sounds like a really cool place. And then I finally got to come, and sure enough, like it was beyond my expectations. And I got to meet Hollis, who I think is everything. Like, wait till you hear her sing, and then also like hear more of her. She's definitely feeling less inclined to share a bike story. I know I promised you guys that she would show a bike story, but that's TBD. But this is Happy Horse Hotel. I'm guessing most of you have been here. Raise your hand if you've been here. Okay, that's most of you. Great. I'm sorry. I do have a point about this story. I guess it just feels like it's been several years. This is our 4th time coming here as Bike Story Night, but initially we came here as our pod, and that was our first time to really like explore it. Several people rode. I was, with me and bringing supplies and things like that. But it was such a great time, and so I'm glad that we get to continue doing this. And then it was kind of around that time when Bike Story Night started to crack out of its shell. Raise your hand if you've never been to a Bike Story Night before. Okay. 5-ish? Yeah, okay. 5-ish, but most of you have been to Bike Story Night. So Bike Story Night, for those of you who've not been here and or maybe forgot, is a culmination of several things that I love. I love bringing people together. Love. I love bikes, and I love photography, documenting especially. And so in that is storytelling. And I had a bike goal at the beginning of 2021. I think it was, 2021. And I shared it with someone, and I'm not like a big goal person. I hadn't really have not lived my life that way, as in like, this is my goal, I'm going to do this in 30 days, that kind of thing. But it was the pandemic, and I was discovering so much about myself because I had so much more time to sit with myself. And so through Spokesy Folks, the WTF ride that I lead, I was like, I got to do this content. What should we do? It's the beginning of the year. Let's do bike goals. And I started actually thinking, like, what is my bike goal? And so that got me thinking more about my purpose. And I realized, like, now a lot of people work on their purpose in their late 20s-ish, they get to like, let's get serious, but not everybody does that. And so slowly but surely got Bike Story Night going, and then it happened. I'll try not to ramble too much more, because I like doing, all of these kinds of things where we come together, bikes. But I will say, if you don't know about Ikigai, you should check it out. It's a culmination of things that you are good at, things that make you money, things that help the world, especially. So I think especially now, these kinds of things, I'm glad that I sat with myself and I got to the point where Bike Story Night came to be. And this is Bike Story Night number 19, which I'm pretty stoked for. Our next Bike Story Night is actually not too far from now. It's in May, at the end of May, hopefully. Bike Story Night number 20 at Yellow Bike Project, which we have never been at. For the last beginning of years, we do it regularly. I have a bike story. I'm not going to share it now. I might do a wild card.
Woo! Yeah.
I have a couple of bike stories, but I highly encourage you as a wild card storyteller to keep the stories rolling. And are you guys stoked?
Yeah.
Stoked could not be higher.
Where's the 30-second card?
there's lots of stuff to do here at Happy Horse. Also, I'm sure Hollis will tell you when she comes out here, but FYI, after the stories, we can hang out and chill and have all kinds of fun. I'm going to be back up here introducing several storytellers, but that is basically my spiel. If you have any questions, I mean, we have time. I don't usually have time at our other events because we're at a cafe where there's like a starting and closing time. But I'll leave it at that. I don't know how many minutes that was. That was probably like way too.
It was perfect.
Before I forget, if you all have a story about Nick, I think you all should definitely tell that story. It's high time we did a Nick. Yeah. Your story you don't know it, but your story probably involves Nick. Okay. So back to the local legends situation. Our first storyteller, I have known Jason for a long time, being a group ride leader in Austin for 8+ years and involved in the cycling community. And, I at first, he would pop up once in a while. Jordan actually knew him. He's like, oh, this guy's cool, this, that. And I was like, okay, there he goes, here and there. And very, I don't know what you call that. What's the word, Zach, for someone who's kind of majestic, mysterious, but you don't see them too often. You can't really tell what they are. Yeah.
A unicorn.
Unicorn, lizard is good.
Lizard, not lizard.
Wait. Oh gosh, what is a technical term for the lizards that change colors that you see?
Chameleon.
Chameleon?
He's a lucid chameleon?
No, that's the other one. Anyway. You guys get it.
Please explain it.
To be honest, this past couple of weeks have been long. There's been back-to-back Bike Story Nights, which has never really happened. But we didn't have storytellers signed up. It's very hard to get storytellers to sign up. I really have to come to people's houses and stuff.
The bar is so much higher than
My suitcase. But yeah, recently Jason asked me if there was room for storyteller, and I was like, oh my god, if it would be one thing for someone to sign up right now, because we want to hear all the stories, but another thing to hear Jason's story, local legend. I've been hoping for this, every time he comes to our event, I'm like, oh, is he gonna do wild cards? Is he gonna do? I have so many dream people, will share their story. So many people, and Jason is definitely one of them. So let's welcome Jason. Big round of applause for Jason, our first storyteller. You got it.
Howdy, y'all. I guess I'll just hold on to it. My name is Jason Abels. For those who don't know me, I've met a lot of y'all through bike groups or just roundabouts. But I'm excited to get out here and looking forward to doing this thing. And when I heard there was opportunities to tell stories, I go, I'll tell a story. I didn't plan a story, so I'm just going to kind of ramble about various bike things. I think when she asked us to come up with a little thing, I'm trying to remember what I called it. It was what doesn't kill you makes you something, a story of what life, love, loss, and how bikes saved my life, or something like that. So where's the first picture? Yeah, so that's me. That bicycle, I know a lot of people own a lot of bicycles, and I'm sure someone here probably has more than me, but I keep accumulating bikes. I think I'm at 17 working bikes right now. What? But of all my bikes, of all the bikes that I love, of all the amazing bikes all over the place. I've been in my house for 23 years, so I've had room to do things. But that bicycle is my very favorite one. It's not necessarily my favorite one to ride, but it means the most to me. That bicycle was my grandfather's Hercules. His older brother actually bought it in 1919, used. And after 3 or 4 years of riding it, when my grandpa became a teenager, he passed it on to his younger brother. So my grandpa got that bike. I believe they were in Chicago at the time, and he rode that thing everywhere. And it is a single speed. It's got a rod brake. To replace and fix the rod brake, I had to get parts from Argentina, because apparently they still use that style of brake in Argentina. So you could buy, parts and repair gear for it. But Yeah, he rode that bike to Milwaukee. He rode that bike all over the Midwest. He rode it from Chicago to Ohio to visit his parents. And he did a whole lot of riding on the bike. To the point that I guess at some, he broke the saddle. Thing was falling apart, so he recovered the saddle. So as I was restoring this bike, I was like, what's up with the saddle? The leather was all cracked and gnarled, and I looked under, peeled up, and there was like leather underneath it that he like put more leather on top of to build. So this is, a lot of family history in this bike. So it ended up, when he couldn't ride it anymore, and I guess they were probably clearing out his house when, he moved into the, where he kind of spent the rest of his life. It went to one of my uncles who, he rode it a little bit. He tried to kind of get it working, but never quite got it there, and he kind of aged out of wanting to do the bike stuff, and so wanted to pass it on to either his kids, and his kids weren't interested, and he's like, all right, who in the family wants it? Well, I'm the cyclist of the family. So he hit me up, went down to, went to a family reunion, and my Uncle Tom brought it with him. So I was able to get this bike and bring it home with me. And so I put, time in it to get it working. And it's such an old bike, there are no standards. So it's like, it doesn't work with any modern parts. So I had to get like tires from Germany, the brakes from Argentina. I don't want to make a connection, but I just realized there's the whole Germany-Argentina thing. So it's weird, weird where the parts are coming from for this, but old British bike, got it working. I've actually been able to take it out on rides and, cruise around, and man, it doesn't ride great, but it just means the world to me. And so that's, my favorite bike out of the whole stable. But yeah, it's, I've been riding my whole life. My parents rode bikes. Some of my earliest memories were from the back of Schwinn's and those little seats bouncing around, knocking my head around. And it's like, I remember my banana yellow Schwinn, but I never really had a bike community until I became an adult and moved to Austin. I came here in, 96, rode a bike around a little bit, but in the 2000s, I found about this little thing called critical mass. And you want to go to the next? Yeah, so this is critical mass. I think this was in 2008, after I'd been doing it a couple years. When I first started, there were maybe like 30, 40 people that rode it. It went through waves. It got big, the cops broke it up, it got small, it got big, it got small, and so I kind of came in a small time. But man, when I went on critical mass, that changed my whole life. I mean, going on a bike ride with no destination. It wasn't just, we're riding from here to there. We're just riding to ride. We're out here on the streets, to be out here on the streets, to be seen on our bikes with no ulterior motive beyond that. And that was just such a mind blower to me that, wait, I can do this thing not to go to get groceries, not to go to work, just for the love of biking. And through this, I met so many friends, and I'm trying to think, there might be a couple of y'all who come from the old critical mass days. I think most of y'all I met through social cycling, but man, some of my longest adult friends that I have, people that I still keep up with, I met through critical mass. That's my buddy right there, Will Kern, and I don't think he really rides much anymore these days. He's kind of gotten to be an elderly gentleman, but I still keep up with him. I still call him, and we'll still talk because he's such a cool guy, and he's someone that I met like 20 years ago on critical mass, and I just want to keep up with all these people. And through that, I got involved in the political side of things. I started leading some rides. In fact, if you want to go to the next picture, this was one of the first rides that I kind of led and put my name on. We did a ride called the Bacon Ride. And again, this one I know kind of predates a lot of the, I think I did my first bacon ride in 2008, and we did them every year or so, but it was literally a ride for and about bacon. I would make a bunch of BLTs, show up somewhere, I'd bring a bunch of bacon, everyone would show up and bring bacon, we'd eat BLTs, we'd go ride bikes around, the very last stop would be at an HEB so we could get all the extra fixings, and then we'd end at a park. And at that park, we'd drink beer and cook bacon and eat bacon and drink beer and make more bacon. And you see all the little foil, I was into this really charcuterie phase there for a while. So I was making my own bacon. So I had Sichuan tea-smoked duck bacon. I had beef, amazing, just all sorts of crazy bacons. And, so it's my buddy Jed and my buddy Gerald and, the fella on the end there was the other bike leader, Dashel, and he the two of us brainstormed. So came up with this bacon ride, did it, huge success, and we just kept doing it. And we'd have these rides, and more people would show up for these bacon rides, and they would just get more and more raucous, and people would, they would stay in the park for longer and longer, and take over another grill and we'd bring grills. It just became this thing. So, we had these bacon rides and it was awesome. And man, we had so much fun, but the drinking kind of started getting a little out of hand. And it's, as one does in their, 20s and early 30s. And on one of the rides in particular, after eating all this bacon, after getting properly drunk, we decided, we're going to do some more riding. So packed up all the leftovers, hopped on our bikes, and took off. If you go to the next slide. Took off across this bridge. And if you all have seen this, there is this mosaic bridge down in Travis Heights, just north of Little Stacy Park. It's a beautiful bridge. It's got these little kind of short edges, like yay tall. And at the time, I was riding a tall bike. So I'm cruising at the front of the pack, riding along on my tall bike, a little drunk, a little loosey-goosey, just kind of cruising. And I'm like, man, I'm leading the pack. I need to wait up for everybody. So I go, to look behind my back and put my foot down on the edge of the bridge. 100% miss the edge of the bridge. So my foot goes over the edge. My body goes over the edge, my bike goes over the edge, everything goes over the edge of this bridge. And it's maybe 15 feet. It's not like a huge bridge, but it's enough of a drop into the rocks and stuff below. Thankfully, there's these trees that are kind of close-ish to it, and I kind of hit one of the trees and it slowed me down a little bit. But man, I think it was probably good that I was drunk, that I was loose enough that when I hit, I didn't, splatter. But yeah, I fell, my bike fell on top of me, my buddies come up, look over the edge, like, Jason, you okay? And I'm like, man, I think so, and I, moving all my stuff, and I was okay. I was able to get up and get the bike up and bent it a little bit, but it's a tall bike, we really don't care about those so much, so give it a little kick and get things back in, running order, and we kept on riding. But that was just one instance of my kind of, near death, but life saved because I'm on a bike. I'm sure I could have, if I would have, otherwise fallen, but whatever about the situation, it all just kind of worked out, and I was okay. So I kept on going, kept on riding, and, I've been doing it ever since. This one here, this is a more recent picture of me. So I've had a few other little near-death things here and there. I've gone through windshields, I've gone through this and that. This one, though not directly bike-related, is my most recent one. I had a heart attack 2.5 months ago. So I kind of told this story a few times, I'm sure, tonight, but I went on a bike ride. It was the MLK ride that Gisala did 10 miles, was feeling great, went downtown, got myself a sandwich, ate my sandwich, started getting a little heartburn. It turned out it wasn't heartburn, but I just thought it was heartburn. So I kept riding a little bit, met up with some friends, hung for a little bit. I was like, man, I'm not feeling good. Took off from that, started going home, realized I had a heart attack. So got a ride to the hospital. They fixed me right up. Got to stay a few nights, but one of the things I wanted to make sure I had when I was, in the hospital when I got home, is I grabbed my Mass City shirt. So that's a critical mass shirt from Houston. And that's my buddy Mutulu made those shirts. And I'm like, all right, if I'm going to be in the hospital, I need to be repping my bikes. I need to be looking fly. So I made sure that I had that, when I got in there. But I just, I think cycling saved my life. And I think that because of, this heart attack when it was happening, if I would not have been a cyclist, if I would not have been an active person, I don't think I would have made it through. Apparently the type of heart attack that I had is called a widowmaker. And it's because it just, kills men of my age and people drop dead. And there's the percentage of surviving it if you're not in a hospital or whatever is 12%. So I was running against the odds, but I really think because I'm a cyclist, that I was in a good enough shape, I was, able to do it, that I survived that. And I will tell you, the first thing that was on my mind, as soon as I was done, I asked them how long till I can ride my bike again. And they're like, well, because we went through the femoral artery, it wasn't as big of a surgery thing, you just got to let those stitches heal a week. Just let the stitches heal, you'll be okay. In a week from now, you can hop on a bike and try to ride, but you got to wear a helmet. I'm like, okay, I can agree to that. So 6 days later, I'm grabbing my bike. It was lunch on a Friday, and I'm just like, man, I got to get out of the house. And I hop on a bike, throw my leg over, and decide to do a little ride just around the block. So, you know how that works. You start getting around the block, and the day just gets even more beautiful. And you start getting around to that corner. It's like, I could take a right and go home, or I could take a left and keep going. And I took the left. So I keep going. I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay in the neighborhood. Well, I get to the edge of the neighborhood. I'm like, man, I don't want to turn around yet. So I just keep going. And I just keep going. And eventually I got to this little pagoda next to a little lake, and I brought a book with me, so I got to sit down and read my book. And there's a coffee shop next door, and I got a coffee, and it was the healing that I needed in that moment. And I've been getting on my bike ever since. And I've been trying to, push myself with my doctor's permission, and I've been doing, longer rides and 10-mile rides and 15-mile rides. And today I did a 32-mile ride with a lot of y'all. And so this is the longest ride I've done since the heart attack. This is the first time I've actually carried things. Oh yeah, and so this is my final, it's like, this is my family, and this is what has saved my life, and the reason why I still get up and do this stuff is because of this community. And I mean, this was, I think we were going to pose for a picture. Everyone was kind of milling about, but I just wanted, I wanted the photographer to get one because, like, these are my people. Look at all those smiles. You see all these friends in the background. See all these people with their bikes just having joy. And that's, you see Tom Wald. You'll see a lot of people in here you probably know. But, this is any given Thursday night in Austin, Texas. And the fact that I live in this city, that I can, on a Thursday night, do this. On a Saturday morning, go on a caffeine cruise. On a Monday, meet up with, the folks who do the Lend Your Legs ride and go and ride with a bunch of blind kids. On a Wednesday, we got Bat City, and it's just all these different things. Like, this is what keeps me going. And I don't think, I think my recovery, I think my survival, I think, my life would not be what it is without bikes and without these people, both these people here and y'all here. Like, this is why I do what I do. So I really do, what doesn't kill you, I don't know if it necessarily makes you stronger, but man, it just makes me keep wanting to do it,
Yeah.
And I don't really have too much other than that, but man, I just want to say thank you for being there with me and for doing that 32-mile ride. Those of you who did, and man, I look forward to keep doing it. Thank you.
Okay, one more big round of applause for Jason. I remember being at this bike event with a friend of mine who is also, I feel, like a legend. They've been in the cycling world for a long time, like the beginning of TNSR and whatnot, and we're doing all kinds of shenanigans like Jason was doing at the very beginning of, Austin's social cycling sort of core scene. And I remember we were at the event and they were like, "Do you know who that is over there?" And I was like, "Who? Where?" And they like pointed to Jason, and they were like, "That's Jason Abels." Like, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I know Jason." And they're like, "No. Do you know that guy has been like?" They were just like started telling me like, "Oh, Jason, we used to do this and we used to do that, and this is what he did and this other stuff." And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know Jason. I guess I know I know of him sort of, and I see him sometimes on rides, and he's always great, and he's super great about advocating for cycling, and I think that he's awesome. So everyone be like Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear your helmet. So I hope that story encouraged you to get up here. Your story can be a memory, an adventure. It can be, this has been my cycling life, kind of like Jason did. Your story could be about Nick and how you rode with Nick that one time, and Nick did all those crazy things and or said things that were crazy. We want to hear all the Nick stories tonight, so I'm just going to keep on reminding you. So yeah, we have wild cards. I know a couple of people are down. We'll have one more featured storyteller, and then we'll roll into the wild cards. So get ready if you're a wild card. I'll just keep calling you guys up here. And then after that, if you don't know already, we also do a thing called Community Plugs. It's an opportunity for you to kind of like further connect with the community here tonight. If you are part of a nonprofit, or if you have an event that's coming up that you're helping and you want more help with, you want to promote, you have a ride you want to promote, you want to tell us in 30 seconds what your ride is about, feel free to do that. I highly encourage you. It's one of my favorite parts of the night, because I just want to keep going that extra mile. I'm winging it up here, Melissa. Zach, what? we also have music from Hollis. That's right, Zach. That's right.
Yes.
Music from Hollis is coming up later, so be
Is she gonna play our own,
be
the
sure
Bike Story Night
to
song?
like get your second wind and everything, and get ready for. Yeah, she has a really cool song about bike packing at Happy Horse. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our next storyteller, who knows Nick. might have some things to tell you about Nick if you ever want to know. But our next storyteller, once again, is a local legend. I have had the pleasure of riding with Tawney multiple times, and is also one of those lizard chameleon people who has that magic. You know, you like see them and you're like, oh my god. You know, and you see them for like a minute, and you have all these like magical conversations and fun conversations, and then when she keeps rolling, and then you also get to see her on social media sometimes if you're lucky, and or go to her yoga class. But that's the gist. I'll let Tawney tell you more about her bike and her life.
Is Villain really your last name?
Thank you.
Questions for the later, okay, sir?
Save all your questions till the end, sir. Thank you, Valerie. Yes. No one's ever called me a local legend before, and my ego is like, stop. I'm gonna have to tame that later. My name is Tawney. Yes, my real last name is Villain. Some of you know me as your friendly neighborhood yoga teacher. Some of you know me as a grump in the mornings in cold Big Bend weather. Some of you know me as the girl that's always hanging out on Montopolis Bridge in the evening for no reason but the sunset. I do really quickly have a Nick story. It's one of my favorites, and it's that the first time I really met Nick was on Bikes Across Borders. And I think I mentioned this my first time I did Bike Story Night. My very first memory of Nick is of him laying on his back on the side of the road eating Cheetos. So that will forever live on in my head. Okay, but tonight I come to you with a story, another adventure story for sure. And I'll just get right into it. First I'll set the scene, okay? It's May 2020. It's like peak COVID. Everything's been canceled. The only people I see are my friends that ride bikes, because we can go and like meet up under bridges on our bikes, far away from one another, and smoke our own pipes, you know? And so it's peak COVID, we're all bored. Bikes Across Borders had just been canceled. We were like amped up for our biggest year, our biggest migration ever. It got canceled. And we were like, well, I'm unemployed, you're unemployed, you wish you were unemployed, so let's all go and ride our bikes. So we planned an offshoot of Bikes Across Borders called Bikes Across Blanco. And we did the half, like the northwestern half of the Adventure Cycling Association's Hill Country route. So we started in Burnett, our plan was to start in Burnett, loop around to Llano, Fredericksburg, Blanco, and then back up to Burnett from and back to, thank you Valerie, I forgot about the ring light, from and back to my friend's farm in Burnett. So that's our plan. We're like, we're going out, we're gonna not see other people, we're gonna drink beers and ride our bikes and swim every day and not be in a hurry and just really enjoy this weird season of life and probably do some drugs too. And we did do all of that, and it was a great fucking time. But what we didn't know was that we would also encounter like an unprecedented weather event. So this is the story of the Central Texas hurricane. Unprecedented. So we made in Burnett first morning, and I will say that I have changed all of the names in this story to protect the innocent and the not so innocent.
Nick?
Even Nick?
Yes. So we meet in Burnett. One guy is late. We'll call him Crawl. He's late, which we're not surprised by. But what we are surprised by is that when he gets there and unloads his things, he learns that he has left his pannier full of clothes and half his gear sitting on the curb back at his house. So we're like, classic crawl. This is hilarious. He's determined and he's going to wear the same exact outfit the entire 4-day trip. He's wearing a monochrome blue outfit, blue shirt, blue pants, blue shoes. He is blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-die. Yeah. So we're like, okay, this is off to a great start. And we ride that first day from Burnett to Llano, and it's beautiful. There's no traffic. The wildflowers are popping. It's just like the most epic ride. We find a accidental swim spot on the way at a river crossing. We stop at Llano, like in town, to get dinner before we land at our campsite. We go to Subway and get meatball subs. We go to the gas station and get more beers. And our campsite is we booked some campsites right on the river. It's called Robinson City Park in Llano. So if you've never been there, you should go. It's incredible. It's just so scenic, and it's a huge waterway, and it's just really beautiful place. And you're not expecting it because it's right there in the middle of their town. So Robinson City Park, we've got these campsites booked, and we're like, cool. We got meatball subs, we got beers, we're gonna go swimming. It's beautiful. We go to check in, and the woman that checks us into the campsite, the camp host or whatever, she's like, kind of looks at us weird, a little side eye. She's like, y'all know there's a storm coming, right? And we're like, yeah, no big deal. We looked at the weather. We think it's gonna blow right by, and we've got good gear. We're like, cannot be wavered. And she's like, well, we're supposed to be really windy. And we're like, yeah, it's fine. We got this. Ooh, it's one of my most favorite shots ever. Look at that epic hill country photo. So we go to our campsite. We eat our subs. We drink our beers. We get in the river. We have a good swim. We have a ton of laughs. We get out. There's clouds billowing off in the distance. Black ones. Scary ones. A lightning show. We watch the lightning show and we're like, haha. This is a beer, right? We're like, haha, I love that those clouds and that lightning show are way over there, not over here. This is so cool. Isn't it fun? We're like, ooh, ah. It's like fireworks off in the distance. And then we decide, maybe we should consider that it's time to set up camp before the sun goes down. And we see, off in the distance, there's, the primitive campsites, and then their RV park, and then way off on the other end of the park is this covered basketball court. And on the one end of the covered basketball court is a stage. A stage that has a back wall and 2 side walls, and we're like, well, maybe we should set up our tents in the basketball court just in case this storm does roll in, right? So we're like, yeah, at least if it rains, we'll be under some cover. So we take all our crap and we go over to the basketball court, and we're starting to set up your tents, and there's just shit everywhere. Your bags just explode on bike trips, right? You get to your campground and your bag just explodes. And you see wow, I carried all of that stuff here. It's amazing how much shit you can fit on your bike. So there's stuff everywhere. Everyone's giggling and laughing and having a good time. Me and my friend Dick Chill were setting up a tent that we shared. We split the burden of carrying a tent. I carried the poles, he carried the tent and the rainfly. And we're trying to set up the tent. And we cannot figure out why this thing won't work. Nothing fits, everything's a strange shape, nothing's working, and we cannot do this. And we're kind of starting to get frustrated, but it's kind of funny. And then I realize we're trying to set up the rainfly. Not the tent. We just have the rainfly that we're trying to make function as a tent, and it's not making sense. And I just remember laughing, scream laughing so hard. I had tears running down my face. And we did that for a moment. I had to really laugh that one off because, wow, that's stupid. And then it was time to get serious because, we're losing daylight. We got to get our stuff set up so we can chill and relax the rest of the night with our stuff squared away. I feel like this is a good time to tell you that I was wearing a long dress and nothing else, right? Because, you get off your bike after a long day, you want to air the bits out. Okay, so I'm wearing a long dress and nothing else. We're trying to put this tent up. I'll remind you also there's stuff everywhere. And out of nowhere, the hurricane force wind blows through the basketball court. Shit goes everywhere. Everybody's stuff is blowing towards the lake, into the lake. Everyone's scrambling, running after their things. My dress goes over my head like a fucking X-rated Big Bertha, right? And I'm like, I pull it back down. I loop the back through my legs and tie the front and the back together. So now I'm wearing a cool romper. And we're like, what do we do? Because it is hurricane force winds blowing through and rain coming through sideways in sheets, actual sheets of rain. Terrifying. Everyone's stuff is blowing away. So we somehow, without speaking, I think there was 6 of us, we decide. We throw one tent on the stage, one guy gets in the tent to hold it down, and the rest of us just start scooping armfuls of stuff off the ground and throwing it in the tent. And that was our strategy for saving our things. And this went on until we secured as much stuff as we could. Some stuff just had to be said goodbye to. We didn't even know. And then we waited out the worst of the wind. And we're all sitting there we can't talk to each other because the wind and the rain are so loud. It's kind of scary. We're like, are we going to die? And then, we're just sitting there waiting for it to end, kind of looking around are we going to make it through this? This is wild. And then the wind does settle down. And the rain settles down to, a pretty steady, temperate rain, something kind of enjoyable. And we start sorting through the things that are in the tent, whose is this and whose is this, and taking inventory of what's missing. And we quickly realize that Paul, sorry, I forgot. Crawl's tent is missing. Crawl's tent is missing. And we're like, damn, dog, now you don't have any clothes and you don't have a tent? Shit. Yeah. That night, it rained the rest of the night. We ended up getting out the whiskey and getting whiskey drunk and just screaming, loud talking to each other, sharing all our different versions of the thing we just experienced because it was so wild. And then we set up our tents, the ones that remained anyways, on the stage, and we all slept on the stage. And in the morning, we ended up finding Crawl's tent in the trees, up in the trees, not salvageable, gone forever because we're never gonna reach it. And it's just and we went on, and he slept in a hammock, a borrowed hammock, the rest of the trip. And the rest of the trip was amazing. We had that wild story, that wild first night, and then the rest of it was seriously riding your bike through a Dr. Seuss book, because the hill country is that wild. And we took some acid. I was talking to somebody earlier, and they said, I have stories, but none of them have a point. And I was like, my story does not have a point. My whole point, I guess, is that part of the joy of being on a bike is all the fun stories you come away with. And these forever memories, I will never forget that. And I can go long periods of time without seeing some of the people that I've shared bike experiences with, but when I do see them, it's always fun to kind of relive these stories again and to hear their perspective of the same exact experience. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for being a great audience. Goodbye.
Okay, questions from the audience?
Yes, Zach.
If we would like to attend any of your classes, where would we go? Where and when would we go?
Oh, that's a great question. Give me that mic. I am a yoga teacher, and now, I've been doing it for a while, so I feel safe saying I'm a pretty good yoga teacher. Come and hang out with me. I teach Monday nights at Black Swan Orchard, 6 p.m., and Thursday nights at Black Swan Anderson at 7:30 p.m. You're never going to remember this, but I also teach at Austin Bouldering Project on Tuesday and Friday nights. Yeah.
What time?
Those are at 5:30. Wait, what time on Anderson you said? 7:30.
In the evening?
In the evening. Yes.
I'll go.
Yes! Okay, just come in and tell me you came from Bike Story Night, and I'm just going to check you in as my guest, because I can't wait to see you. Zach, number 2.
Were you born a villain or did you become one?
I was born a villain, and here's another fun fact. I rode out of my mother's womb on a bicycle. So I've been riding for a long time. What else you got?
That's it for now.
How did the bicycle get in there?
I don't know, dude. Anomalies. Science can't explain it, neither can I.
Do you know any other fun facts about Nick?
I have so many fun facts about Nick, but a lot of them are locked in a big secret bubble. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tawney. Thank you. I have a fun fact about Nick. Just kidding. No, I really did want to tell you guys, if you don't know, the point to life, it is to have fun and live great stories. You know. Bonus points if you do that on
Ideally riding with it.
Yes, ideally you're riding with Nick. So yeah, those are our 2 feature storytellers. Usually we have lot more storytellers, but I didn't have a lot of time to knock on doors as I might usually have. I had like back-to-back events, which were great. We were at recently. Our first event of the year was in Dallas, which was great. It's a big goal of mine to continue growing Bike Story Night and going to other cities, and then eventually the other side of the world. Just gonna put that out there, universe. So if you guys know anyone who wants to share a story at a future event, please send them my way. Tell them they should do it. Tell them, they'll probably telling you their story and then just be like, can I just stop you real quick? You should just tell the rest of this at Bike Story Night. But yeah, I'm going to introduce our next storyteller, Nick Loma. Come on up. Oh, he just disappeared. He's like, I know this is coming. That was a joke. That was totally a joke. I'll just take a quick question while we're just going into our wild card segment for just a moment. Wait, again, raise your hand if you're interested in wild card. I know there's 5 of you. Lena? Yes? Wait. Okay, great. Does anyone need to use the bathroom or do anything? Yes? Okay.
This way.
Usually we have 4 wild cards. We'll have 2 wild cards, a featured bike org, and between wild cards we'll take a break. I know that at camp it can be tricky, you might want to disappear into the woods, but do not, because we have more fun facts about Nick and wild cards coming up. Okay, 5 minutes, 5-minute break, okay?
5 minutes.
Hollis, keep up or get lost, and you fall too far behind that big trotting horse he had, and there I was on my little Schwinn bicycle, going as fast as I could over a rocky country road. We did that a lot through the hills of Wisconsin and then down in Indiana. So sometimes switching out horses and bicycles, and now we have a horse and bicycle camp. It's just astonishing to me that part of my early life has come back in the form of these people who ride these long distances. His daddy'd take me out riding. He'd be on his 10-speed and I'd be on my Schwinn with no speed except thigh speed. And he'd say, now keep up, Hollis, or you'll get left behind. And those hills would hurt so bad. And sometimes he'd have to wait at the top, but I could never get off. He'd let me never get off the damn fucking bicycle. That was bad. You didn't get any brownies when you got home. So no pain, no gain. Haul ass, horses, bicycles. My bicycle stories all have to do with going fast and sometimes falling off and always getting up. Valerie said, don't tell any stories that don't end well. They all end well because I'm here, right? So, and kudos to you for who makes the ride all the time. How many rides? 4 is the most? You've ridden 4 times? Or did you drive this time?
No, I've ridden out every time.
Oh man, we ought to have blue
Every time
ribbons.
you've been.
Champ.
Every time I've been.
There ought to be a board. People keep track, you know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's all about the weather and how tolerable it is. I think we got lucky because it's not hot. No mosquitoes yet.
I mean, it's certainly
And,
not hot.
And it's not going to be freezing cold by morning, but bundle up, kids, you know. Bundle up. So you're going to resume your show. I'm going to come back in, 10 or 15 minutes with my ukulele and find a place where the wind won't blow my fingers so I can't feel the strings. And I'm going to sing you the bicycle song that has to do with Valerie and her baskets full of snacks. And all of you who come and ride and do this camping thing, and we love you for it. It's cosmic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give it up for Hollis and Bo one more time. Lovely guest hosts. We are going to continue and have our wildcard storytellers. And I just hope that you know that your story doesn't have to be like an epic story. You don't have to have like, I rode 100 miles or I rode several days. Your story can be, just about your bike life or just like a fun memory or an adventure that you had with friends and how it has made your life even better, right? Like just more and more stories that we can use to connect and inspire us to keep on going and keep on riding and connecting with each other. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Yes.
I feel like starting to have like ear stuff. But raise your hand once again. Where are you? Are you still here? We have 1, 2, 5 storytellers, or wildcard storytellers. Is there anyone who did the ride today who hasn't shared a story before and kind of thinking today's the day?
Adam.
I've shared one before. Clear that cough.
Are you guys enjoying the stories?
Yes.
Feeling this? Did you like Milos's story? Do you remember?
Yeah.
We miss them.
Yeah. Who here has had their very first overnight backpacking experience ride situation?
Oh, that's nice. What? No one?
Okay. Wait, you didn't ride here, Ryan? Who rode here tonight? That's awesome. That's awesome. And thank you to those who also came here for the stories. I think that's awesome to do because that's how I first discovered Happy Horse Hotel. So I hope you're ready. We have wildcard storytellers. Who knows what's going to happen in these stories? Hopefully they're life lessons and encouraging you to bike more. Bonus points if they're about Nick. Just kidding. Did I scare Nick? Is he still
Yeah,
here?
he leaves every time you say his name.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
No, Don, don't say that. Wait, and where is he? Is he okay?
He went to the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, here he is, look.
Nick, everyone.
We were not talking about you, Nick. No, it's not talking about you.
You're on film.
Okay, I feel like our first storyteller should be from the back forward. I've seen a hand. Come on up here, Bruce. Give Bruce a round of applause. Let's go.
Bruce.
You may or may not know Bruce from Magnum PI. Do you want to hold the mic? Or?
Yeah, I'll hold it.
Okay. I'm super excited. I don't know if you noticed, but Bruce is modeling a Bike Story Night t-shirt. Also, a shameless plug here. We do have Bike Story Night t-shirts. They are on sale tonight just for you happy campers. So, yeah, do a spin. How does it feel?
How much money would it cost
Like
to
so many
That's
miles
such
in
an
it?
item.
It's very soft. That's important
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
I like
heck
soft.
yeah. Heck yeah. Okay. Take it away, Bruce.
Okay.
So I was thinking about on the way down here that there would be wildcard spots, and I could give you a brief history of my 40 years of riding in Austin, because I realized it's 40 years ago that I discovered riding in Austin. I was an avid rider as a kiddo and through high school and things like that. And when I was in junior college, on my 19th birthday in 1985, we didn't need that. But on my 19th birthday in 1985, my older girlfriend, who had gone to UT and graduated, it was my plan to transfer to UT, so she brought me up to Austin for the weekend to stay with her girlfriend in South Austin and introduced me to Austin. And we went to all these great places, and the only one that's still around is Barton Springs. We went to Les Amis and Liberty Lunch. But what I noticed immediately, we were staying in the South Austin neighborhood, there were signs, bicycle route signs. And I found that really intriguing. I come up from San Antonio, not a biking community city. And so, our host, she told me about it. She said, yeah, there's routes around town, and she gave me this map, and she had a bike in the garage. And it was a regular map. It wasn't specific to the routes. It was an Austin City map, and it included all the bike routes. And I just thought that was so cool. And I took a couple of rides, on her bike, just checking out these routes, and thought it was so neat that the city had planned out different routes, and they weren't bike lanes, but they were the bike, and you still see them sometimes. There's one down on Shoal Creek Boulevard, and it's Route 51. You'll see them. And I thought, well, that was really cool. It was one of the things I loved about the city my first weekend here. 2 years later, I did transfer to UT. And within a couple of months, a friend of mine said, he knew I was into cycling, and he said, I've got a mountain bike. He got into mountain biking. He goes, I'm going to sell you my old mountain bike. And I was like, you're just trying to sell me your bike. He goes, no, you really want this bike. You will dig this. And he introduced me to mountain biking. It was a Schwinn Sierra with the thumb shifters and stuff, and fat tires, and I was in heaven. And this town at the time, and we were living right on Town Lake, because this town was cheap as hell at the time. And a lot of the Butler Trail existed. They had just made in the late 80s, the bridge that goes under, the pedestrian bridge underneath Mopac and things like that. And it was pretty robust already. It's not as nice, especially west of Congress. And I just rode the wheels off of that bike. And I became a mountain bike guy in this town, Shoal Creek. I went to UT, dropped out, became a slacker. Had a bike instead of a car. Bike was my transportation. Shoal Creek was my Mopac. And back then, Shoal Creek was pretty rough, so mountain bike helped because you had to portage it sometimes and things like that. And and it's always been it was a great town for, especially being central, to get around in on a bike and things like that. And then as I got some more, got my act together and got a job, and I started getting really nice bikes. I got into mountain biking. And I realized now that I was leaving town. I was going out west. I fell in love with Moab, and west there was this annual mountain biking thing in western Colorado. I had friends in California, so I was taking my bike all over the place. And so I spent a lot of years biking other places. And it kind of got really hardcore into the mountain biking and doing trails that would scare the hell out of me and things like that. And then my more recent chapter started with the Sunday Cruise. And a shout out to Jordan and to Valerie for reminding me how wonderful cycling is in this city. And riding. I've lived here for 38 years now, and on regularly I learn new things about my city riding with folks, that have been alive for shorter than I've been here and stuff. I'm still learning about the city, and it was a Sunday Cruise that brought me back into enjoying the cycling of this city and reminding me what a wonderful town we live in. And one of my favorite things about it is being a cyclist in it. I was always a cyclist as a kiddo and things like that, and my friend who pushed me into buying his bike, and he wanted to make the money so he could buy another one, And I'm so glad he did, because he was right. I mean, that just opened me up to a new kind of cycling and just being an urban cyclist and things like that. So anyway, I want to thank again Jordan and Valerie for bringing me back into the fold of Austin cycling. And I still enjoy it. It's every caffeine cruise, Sunday cruise, and critical mass is an adventure, and I love y'all. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. I love riding with you too. And also just friendly reminder that you guys should encourage people to come on group rides with you, because I think it's a great opportunity to reintroduce people to cycling and just like get them going, you know, just like challenge them a little bit in this like fun way, because when they go on a group ride, they're almost like on a roller coaster, like you're buckled in, more or less. There's no commitment. You can still hop off of a group ride, but it's almost like a roller coaster where you kind of got your ticket, you got your taco, your coffee or whatever, and then you're like on the ride, you've met people and people are talking to you. I'm preaching to the choir for the most part though. I think everyone here, except for maybe a few of you, are not on group rides regularly. Okay. But yeah, PSA. So wait, okay, back to the wildcard storytellers. We have a couple more. We have a like part 2 to a previous wildcard storyteller, someone told me. But is it Nicolas?
Yeah.
Nicolas. Okay. I love how all night we've been joking about Nick. We actually have a person named Nick who's going to tell a story tonight. It's probably about Nick, right? Just kidding.
Probably.
One Nick.
This is actually someone who doesn't know Nick, strangely, so I hope you get to know Nick throughout this night or tomorrow on the ride. Nicholas and Lena are kind of new to town, to Austin, but they are amazing cyclists. If you haven't checked out their bikes and you're into bikes, definitely check out their bikes. They have sweet-ass bikes, the Omnium brand, which is one of my dream bikes. But yeah, speaking of dreams, this is my dream project, so I really, again, can't thank you enough for being here and enjoying it and sharing your story. So I'm going to let the wildcard stories roll with Nicholas.
Woo! Woo!
Hi everyone. I'm Nicolas, or just Nick because nobody can pronounce my name right. So I got to just go with Nick. It's way easier to do it that way. And I really don't know what I want to talk about because there's so much I could talk. I could stand here for hours just rambling around everything.
Do it.
But I think I want to talk about my battle with the snow last year. So my father-in-law, he got his life goal to cycle around Germany for at least one time. So he just mapped out all the border, what way he can go. And he was like, yeah, I'm kind of bored doing it alone, so do you want to come because you like to ride a bike? I'm like, sure, yeah, but I won't pay for hotels. Are you going to stay in a tent? He's like, no, I'm not going to stay in a tent. I'm too old, so I pay the hotels, you come with me. And so I'm like, yeah, that's a good deal. Get free hotels and just enjoy riding my bike. And our first trip together was through the Alps. And normally whenever we would do a trip, weather isn't on our side. Never. So first trip through the Alps, I looked on the weather map. It's like, oh yeah, we have heavy rainstorms rolling in. In the end, we had lots of waterfalls. It was very beautiful. So we thought, yeah, let's do it again. So then we took it up, and he's like, okay, where do you want to go? I said, yeah, I have a battle with the Iron Curtain Trail because I failed it before, off river and very heavy conditions. So I'm like, yeah, let's do the eastern border through the Bavarian forest. And he's like, yeah, when? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. My wedding's coming up. I have to finish my studies, also new job. Let's do it in March. And March in Germany is still hella cold, and there will be a lot of snow. And we started to ride easy, going along the rivers, going up north, and it was kind of warm. We had sun, a little bit of rain, but it was very fine. And then we started our climb up into the mountains. On our first evening, rolling into our first spot where we stayed, it started snowing. Like, holy shit, I never took my bike really out in the snow. Normally in winter in Germany, I would just stop riding my bike when it gets cold, and I would re-emerge in the spring, be like, yeah, let's start again, and just do different stuff throughout the winter. But this time, no, I was in the middle of the snow, in the middle of nowhere, basically, and we just started our climb into the mountains. So on the next day, we went higher. And normally, normal routes, like sometimes you go up the hill and then you go down the hill. But this route was you go up the hill, then you go up the hill, then you go up the hill, and at some point there was so much snow laying around you couldn't go. You couldn't ride the bike. So we started pushing. And we started pushing, and we thought we might be able to ride 60 miles a day. The snow started around mile 10, and we pushed for another 10 miles. No end in sight, no house in sight, just in the middle of the mountains in the forest. And we so like went on, and from time to time you felt like safe, like, yeah, the snow is very, very low, very, very hard, you can ride on it. So you went onto the mountain, rode down, but then was a mountain of snow just coming up, you couldn't see it. So we just rambled into this mountain of snow, falling aside, doing snow angel, and then we're like, oh yeah, I'm pushing again. And whenever I turn around, it was so hard looking at it. My father-in-law, he's even bigger than me and had more stuff on his bike. I know how he did it because I packed a lot of stuff. And I turned around, he was right behind me just pushing up, and I thought like, this man will collapse pretty soon and I don't know what to do. So yeah, we reached a little village after half the time, and actually we went into Czechia at that time, so nobody spoke German. We're like, yeah, we want some food. I'm like, the list of food they had were in Czech. I just pointed at something because I was so exhausted. I got half a duck just served to me in front. I'm like, okay, yeah, so it's duck today. I wasn't in my mind, but yeah, I'm gonna have it. And yeah, that was our day. Just after 50% of what we wanted to achieve, we just stopped, stayed there in this little house in the middle of nowhere, had a whole duck, and then went to sleep. And we planned ahead, and we're like, yeah, we just planned in 7 days for this whole trip maximum. But in that speed, we need 2 weeks. So we looked it up. Where's the next train station? Where can we go? And yeah, there was one we could reach. And it started again. We could take the fast road downhill with a lot of cars. I'm like, nah, not do that. Our normal path goes into the forest again. I'm like, it's not that snowy, it doesn't look that snowy. After about 4 miles into the woods, the snow was there again, and we pushed. We pushed again for another 2 hours. And at some point, I just went onto my bike and just rode it. I don't know how I managed to do it, but I just rode it down a hill without crashing, without sliding out into the woods. And my plan didn't include that we were 2. So then I was standing at a crossing, turned around and nobody was there. So then we're standing in the snow for another hour waiting for my father-in-law to push his bike up to me. He's like, how did you do that? I never seen someone ride a bike through the snow. And I tried it too, do the same as you, but no, we stopped it. And then we took the easy route, out of the forest, onto the fast road, down to the train station, and took the next train home. And I know, it's my second time on the Iron Curtain Trail. The second time I was beaten by it for different conditions, and I will go back at some point, and maybe this time there won't be snow or rain. All my gear won't be good enough to do it, so yeah, that's definitely a story to be continued.
Nicolas, thank you. Gosh, I feel like that's bike goals. When I got my dream bike, I guess you could say, I definitely was like, I want the Swiss Army knife of bikes for the most part that could do lots of adventure stuff. And I still have yet. I think I've only done like one overnight. I didn't carry very much stuff. But I'm excited to hopefully do cool adventures like Nicolas. Do you guys aspire to do cool adventures? Where are you? Where are you on your bike journey? Are you like, I'm almost there. I'm gearing up for some cool rides. I think especially it's cool if you can take a train home. I want to go to there. I want to go to there. You know, I want to do like go up to the place or whatever.
Bike to Leander.
Cool. And or yeah, train to the place and ride around. Yeah. That was a great story. Thank you. I'm going to go back to the back because also part 2, you reminded me, there's somebody who has a part 2 story from the last Bike Story Night. So hopefully you've been here. If not, you can always go back to our YouTube and check out the story that this wild card shared last time. You know who you are. Get up here. Twisting the arms.
Oh,
We have a part 2 from Dylan and Erik here.
All right.
Thanks, Val. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hi. Love your hat.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cold out there. You got to wear a hat. I think the only other time that I've ever done a Bike Story Night, Wildcard Stop, was like here maybe like a year and a half ago. Does that sound about right? All right.
Technically, yes.
And so if you were here, I told a story. My, like half of my life, like 100% of my heart, but like 50% of my time is spent with a young man who's growing up. Like he's my son. His name is Sage. And I think the last time I was up here, I told a story about how we did an experiment when he was in, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade. I actually don't honestly remember. I was working at UT at the time, and he went to Maplewood, which is up near Cherrywood Coffee House, if you're familiar. And we live in Montopolis. So we were, for a year, we were 100% bike commuters. So he was like the only dude in elementary school that had to ride his bike to school every day. So he will have that story one day. He's like, yeah, I rode my bike uphill both ways and fought bears and shit like that. But I, you know, like, and for me, like, it was like, that was my, like, my car was, I have a car, but we weren't going to do that at the time. Like, we're just like, this is an experiment. We're going to do it together. And he reluctantly did it. And for a 4th grader, that's a difficult proposition. And so for a while, he kind of did not like bikes for a long time. Like, like that was not a cool thing for him. But it was also like, it was a learning experience. So like now he's a little bit older. He's in 7th grade. And so this is the update. This is the part 2. He has evolved a little bit. Like he still is like, you know, bikes are okay. We've moved from like this is difficult and this is like really hard and it's making me work, and to like bikes are okay now. And this is, you know, if you have a kid in your life, maybe like you measure your life by like the way that your kid grows a little bit. And so like I feel like I'm in that situation. And so now the cool thing is, like, he actually is faster than me in like certain things. Like we can like, he's like cool with going out and like riding. Like we will go and we will ride to school like once a week. We're good with once a week now. He also does say like, okay, like once it gets really hot, like I don't want to like arrive to like 7th grade all sweaty and stuff. Like that's not cool. I get that. So you can't just hop in the shower, you know. So we'll do it until it's really hot, and then so we do that once a week. But it's just fascinating to me, like from like going from this pace where like this is a little kid on a little bike and we're riding like every day, and it took us like 40 minutes to get north, to like this kid that's like hauling ass across the Montauk Bridge and like beating me. And I'm like, it's only like a matter of time before like I'm the slow person and like he's gonna be the fast person. And I'm also seeing like the perspective shift a little bit from like, yeah, like I have to ride a bike to school, to like, oh yeah, like I, you know, it's cool. Like, let's do it. Like, let's go. And, like, let's go get tacos afterwards. Like, like, let's not only, like, go to school, but, like, let's go up to El Cholito and then back home. So, like, that's, like, where we're at. So we're evolving. And it's cool because, like, who knows? Maybe in 2 years, I mean, in 2 years he'll be in high school, which is crazy. He'll be a freshman in high school. And then maybe we'll have another bike story to tell, you know? Like, we'll have other adventures to have together. So, like, I measure, obviously with you all, I know a lot of you, so we have our bike adventures together, but, like, I also have this other separate bike adventure that is very personal to me. So that's my wild card.
Thank you. Erik was basically saying that if you have a bike, you have a bike story. So I'm coming for you. No, really. How far does this cord go? Oh, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Amelia, I'm coming for you later. Okay. I know where you live. Just kidding. Just kidding. I know where you live, Nick. I'm sorry to keep poking at you. I'm sorry. Just love it. Just love it. Thank you for leading the ride and being an awesome cyclist and like always like being cool on the rides, Nick. Honestly. So this is my Nick story. I'm being a wild card, real wild card right now. So I remember Nick was like suddenly on our ride, and I was like, who is this person? But he knew everyone. Like usually when people come on the rides, they don't know many people, and then they slowly friend everyone. But this person seemed to know, and I'm like, what? You know that person too? You know that person too who's been on our rides for years? Like, what? Okay. But not hard to read. One cool thing that I want to say about Nick is that he will tell you what he's thinking. He will give you some pro tips, and also just like be one of those people who you kind of want to meet on a ride, who's like talkative a little bit but not too much, and also like helpful but not too much. And also just like has a cool bike, so you're kind of like, what? What I'm trying to say is Nick is also a lizard. One of those lizard local legends. I'm sure you all know. You guys know, right? Raise your hand if you know Nick. Wow, okay. I know a lot of you know Nick and you're really cold, but I'm joking.
Last name's not really long.
Yes. Wait, here comes Hollis. She's almost here. Okay, wait. We have two more wild card storytellers? How many more? Ooh. Okay, wait.
Isabel.
We have one in the back, but we're going to go back to the front and then to the back for the wild card. David, you will be the, I think, last wild card unless somebody else that I can't see. It's not too late.
Well, how much time do we have?
Hollis is kind of like, what's going on? What's going on, Val? It's only 9:37. Hollis is a night owl, so she's like, I'll go back, no problem. Bo, are you here? Do you think Hollis is okay? She's ready?
There's a little.
Okay.
Look at a little go-kart cone.
Hollis, come over here.
Out of the dog.
Are you testing it? Okay, you're cool. You're cool with like 20 more minutes, maybe 15. I think she is. Okay, Isabel, come on up here, you wild card, you. This is gonna be fun. You guys have been a great audience, but yeah, like really listen to this one. What? Yes.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Isabel, and this week I did something I have been threatening to do for over a year. I did not pay my car insurance. Yeah, like
Rebel.
2.5 years ago when I was living in Boston, I didn't realize car insurance was something you had to pay to have a car, and that you had to pay it like every month. It wasn't just like a here's $10. But the last time I drove was March 11th, and now I am car free. And I did Bikes Across Borders, and there's some stories there, but really the main story is that Bikes Across Borders gave me the confidence to go car free. But day one of going car free, I was like, yes, this is amazing. Riding down 12th Street with a group, and then all of a sudden I hear something rubbing. It is a flat tire, which, I didn't get in the entire Bikes Across Borders, but of course 12th Street is 12th Street. So I think, I'll just lock up my bike, go grab, Uber back, grab my car. Wait a sec. So I start waiting for the Cat Metro, which I learned doesn't run on Sundays. Luckily, I have a friend. Come pick me up. The next day, day 2 of being car free, I have to go get my blood drawn, which is never a fun experience. So I go on my bike, then start feeling a little dizzy after. I'm like, okay, it's okay. Just make it home. Try to turn my e-bike on. It's not working. Try again. Not working whatsoever. I walk it. I start walking it, like how I'm going to get on a bus. Eventually, I do get it working. All I know is people keep asking me, why did you decide to go car free? And I don't know what to tell them. I want to make my life as hard as possible, but I know I'm going to need some friends because I love watermelon. I discovered it when I came to Texas. Big HEB watermelons. And I don't know how I'm going to get them anymore. So be warned, car friends. If you ever give me a ride somewhere, we will be stopping at HEB to get 1, possibly 2, not these personal watermelons, like big ass Texas-sized $8 watermelons. And some black cherry sparkling water. No, that is my bike story.
Thank you so much, Shark. Okay, I think we have one more wild card. And also just a friendly reminder, you can tell stories by the campfire later and or reach out to me if you want to do a one-on-one interview / bike story / anything. I don't know. Bikes, you... Not anything, Maya. Okay, stop. Out of control. Where's Tawney? You guys stay separate. No, for real. I want to hear more bike stories. Reach out to me anytime you want to hear bike stories if you don't want to do mic on the microphone in front of people. Bike stories. I think we have one more bike wild card storyteller. I'm very excited because I feel like this is another local legend, kind of. David Knowles, come on up here! Yes,
There's pictures involved, and I need to put them.
Okay. Sounds. Well, no problem, because we have an event coming up at Yellow Bike Project, May 27th. So you should do it. Be a featured storyteller. You get to share photos. Unfortunately, as wild cards, it's kind of like at the event, and it's a whole thing. We have our audio-visual person, and it's a whole thing. Which reminds me, if you want to sign up to volunteer, that's also welcome. It's really helpful at our events and helps these things run so smoothly. Thank you to all the volunteers who have helped tonight and at previous events, because it really does make a huge difference. So thank you. But
Ready for Hollis?
I think we are ready for Hollis. I'm feeling it's Hollis. Hollis, are you ready for us? Maybe?
Ask the sound guy.
Sound guy? Go.
Time to sound check.
I think I found a wind-free spot.
You guys, it's like 19 miles per hour winds right now. Off and on. I just checked my phone. Okay? It's going to be so cozy in the tent. So cozy. Hollis is a extraordinaire musician. She has music online. You can find her on all the places you listen to your great music. There's a website, but mostly she's a ukulele expert, essentially, and she teaches ukulele lessons. If you ever want to come here and do ukulele lessons, we were just talking a minute ago how we don't camp enough, and hopefully we will come camp soon. I've been wanting to do like a band camp situation. So if you are into music and camping, you should come. Hollis, Bo, or wait, are you sound on your cart?
Yes.
Okay. Last chance to share anything you want tonight. Oh, also, yeah, we didn't do community plugs. Wait. Community plugs. If you have a an event, a program, a nonprofit, a group that you want to hype up, please come up here. Come line up. Okay, we have our first community plug. Please line up after this person. 30 seconds to talk about one thing that you love and or want to connect with the community more about. Yay!
All right, everybody. Jason already made a mention of it, but Monday nights we've got until the end of the semester. Is maybe not everyone. If it rains, it's off. But lend your legs at Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. This Monday is going to be special. We just set up a new pedicab for the school to have. But we're going to have at least 3 pedicabs involved. But we need all the riders who can to come and ride along. I know so many faces out here have been out there and helped out, but come help, and it's a blast, and it's 8.5 miles of the most chill, awesome, like kids laughing the whole time ride.
Yes!
I volunteer with the Austin Ghost Bike Project, which is the organization responsible for placing those white bicycles at the locations of cyclists who were killed in traffic. You'll probably see them around downtown area. We've been trying to put in more kind of on the farther out of town, north side here and there. But we have an event coming up next month. It is called the International Ride of Silence, and it is an event that occurs all over the globe. It's May 21st, which I believe is a Wednesday. It'll be that evening. It meets at 6:30 at City Hall, and we ride at 7 o'clock. It is a silent ride, but we will ride past the locations of some of those ghost bikes and basically just do a circuit to kind of bring awareness to cyclist death and, the things that we face day in and day out on the streets. But I'd love to see y'all out there. It's May 21st. There will be posts on Facebook and on Instagram, but just keep an eye out and hope to see y'all there. Thank you.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Zach Faddis, and I'm the president of Aura. We're a local, all-volunteer, grassroots, democratically run volunteer advocacy organization focused on land use and transportation issues in the city of Austin. We've made the city of Austin an incredibly expensive place to live because we have essentially made it illegal to build enough homes for the people that want to live in our city. We've made it very low density. We've built a very low density city that makes it very impossible to get anywhere in any way other than a car. You go on vacation to Europe, to these magical places where you can walk to meet where the average citizen doesn't need to own a car to meet their daily needs, where you can have beautiful public infrastructure. That is not some fairy tale that you have to go on vacation for. It's a thing that used to be in America that we decided to tear down in exchange for a car-dependent suburb, so we can have it again. And there's a strong movement to build it here in the city of Austin. If you want to get involved, please come talk to me.
Oh God, stop. Dance your way out.
That was the anti-rain dance from Zach. Great job, Zach. Man, we almost had a battle of the blankets. While I am a yoga teacher, I am also the adult programs coordinator at Gisalo, which is a nonprofit here in town that we work to make cycling accessible for all ages and all abilities, and we strive to develop empowered cyclists from a young age all the way through your old age. So we are looking for volunteers all of the time. We're trying to build up our volunteer base, so that can look like a lot of different things depending on what your skill set is and what your time availability is. But if you are interested in helping us run youth programming at elementary schools, or helping us lead group rides, or helping us marshal rides, or you're a mechanic and you want to volunteer for any sort of events that we have coming up in the future, we have all kinds of volunteer opportunities and we'd love to plug you in. So please, you can reach out to me via Instagram, or you can go to the Gisala website and find my work email. You can also hit up our Gisalo Instagram. Somebody will answer you there. Like, literally contact anybody. There's only 6 of us. So if that sounds fun for you, I hope to see you around soon.
Woo! Okay, bye. Shout out to Jelly, also making an appearance.
We're codependent.
Where are we? Where are we on the slide? Shout out to Jordan for running the slide situation and the video recording. You will get to hear and see these stories all over again on our YouTube. Be sure to follow, subscribe, hit that like button, share with all your friends. No, seriously. Go to your friend's house and be like, hey, check this out. I hope to see you guys on a ride soon. I am doing a thing at the Critical Mass situation that's happening on April 26th. That's Saturday, I believe. 26th? Yes. Thanks, Tawney. I'll be there. There's a really cool kids book that I got last time at the Texas Book Hop Fair situation. I forget what it's called. It's like indie book something, and you can like go to different indie bookstores and check out stuff. And Sunday Cruise is going to be hopping at a few of them next Sunday also, just FYI. So yeah, if you ever want to come on Sunday Cruise, do that. That's my little community plug, and also 2 community plugs, I guess. I'm so glad that you guys came. Again, thank you all to the volunteers and everybody who made this possible. Thank you to the storytellers. Storytellers, wait, come up here. Come up here. Featured storytellers, wildcard storytellers, just come up here one more time. Come on. Also, can we get Nick up here? Where'd he? Yeah, get up here, wildcards.
You too.
Yeah.
Yay.
Get up here.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
look at
Dom's
I'm
gonna
sorry,
get a photo.
it's me. I'm
Dom's
not
getting a
trying to
photo.
sabotage.
Trip me.
Not trying to sabotage, I'm sorry. Yay, yay. Okay, also, like, does anybody have any questions? Do you want to ask questions to these fine folks here? Because this is your chance. We got you up here.
What's your favorite color?
That's a great question.
Mine
Such a good question.
Wait, what's your bike color? Okay, you have, like, multiple your favorite bike colors.
Purple. I've got
Purple?
3 purple bikes.
My favorite bike is silver, but my favorite color is purple.
Woo!
Green and purple.
Both my motorcycle and my bike are black, but I would like them both to be green.
Green is his favorite color.
That's a Nick story, actually.
Okay.
My primary bike is blue. I don't have any favorite bikes. Like you can't have favorite kids. Same kind of. All my bikes are very special.
Tell that to
Look
my
at these,
parents.
look at these wonderful people. Oh gosh. We do have one story. Why don't you just come up here, Zach? Come up here. Just come up here.
Why should I?
Yeah, just come up here.
What am I doing?
Why should I come up?
What am I doing?
You have a question?
Oh yes. Nick, what brings you to Austin? Why are you in
She did.
Lena, move here.
She did.
Okay.
No, that's my wife. She's doing a PhD at UT.
What in?
Germanic studies. It's very ironic.
Are you both from Germany?
Are you
Yeah.
a dissertation?
But no, there actually are native German speakers in Texas, and she wants to do a bit of research about it.
A lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Yeah, we have a lot of German communities
Northern
here.
Mexico too.
Pflugerville.
West.
Norteños.
That's no question.
That's actually yielded an interesting answer.
Hollis, we are so stoked to hear you play. Are you going to come up here?
Can we leave
Or
now,
are we going
Val?
to go to you? We're coming to you.
Next to that fire.
We're coming to you.
Oh, it's a
And
fireside.
this concludes the
concert.
Bike Story Night. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.
I went to work on Monday, thinking about that weather. Weekend looking rainy, but I'm hoping for much better. Dream that came on Tuesday and Hollis in the store. Gonna make it to the weekend, make it to Shenanigans. Gonna ride on Riverside. Ride on Riverside. Ride on Riverside. I wanna ride down Riverside Trail. Was a horse. And actually, it became the other way around for me. My daddy was a horse guy, but he was never better at horse than he was at bicycle. And I was better at horse than bicycle. And between bicycles and horses, I didn't have to walk anywhere. I mean, it was all about riding from here to there, following the path down the road, wherever those horses' ears were. And the equivalent for you people is your handlebars and that wheel. Just point that wheel down the trail, and there you go. Look where it led today, right? Yep. Baby, let's go ride. Baby, let's go ride. Baby, let's go ride. Busted up and broken, she rides most every day. Cannot give it up, she says it's the only way to play. Life's game is short and wild, flies by all too quick. You're ill-advised to take a chance unless you know the trick. Take the risk, go for broke, lay it on the line. Busted up and broken, dreams don't happen every time. Gather up the past, fling it far and wide. The future is our only hope, so baby, let's go ride. Sometimes there's a change in my own true love, but there's never no change in me. Rolling my sweet baby's arms, rolling my sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back, rolling my sweet baby's arms. Where was you last Friday night? I was a laying up in jail. You was walking down the streets with another man, and you wouldn't even know my mail. Rolling my sweet baby's